Hello everyone, today I'm going to demo a very neat software. It's called Library Inventory Management. With that software, you can literally maintain any of the library items, and you can even extend that software to add more stuff in there. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to put the link in the description below where you can download the software. So once you download it and you of course unzip it, you will have a directory structure that will look something like this. So I unzipped it under CUT project. So you'll have a directory called LIM, and it will have a whole bunch of files. So this software is completely written in Java using Java Swing. It's a standalone application that runs on any platform, whether it's Windows or Linux, as long as you have support for Windows, like frames and stuff like that. Okay, so you will have the classes directory, and that's of course where the compiled classes are, and the DB it supports various different databases. So here right now I have MySql, I have Microsoft SQL Server and Oracle, but it has documentation that you can look at and see how to support it for other databases. Right now on this one, by default it just runs in again Microsoft Access, and this is the database right here, as you can see. And libraries is all the dependent libraries that it uses, and of course this is the source code, and this is the test version of the source code. You can use a little test program where you can insert sample data. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And of course by default you get like the JDeveloper workspace and JDeveloper project. So if you have JDeveloper, or if you don't, you can just download it for free actually from Oracle site. And you can even open this entire project using JDeveloper. Let me show you that first. So I have JDeveloper, and I'm going to go ahead and open JDeveloper. It should take a little bit of time. It's up right now, so this is how the JDeveloper looks like. And then you can open any project by clicking Open Application, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and go to that directory where I have. Okay, mine is on YouTube projects, and then of course LIM, and there's the JWS file. You can open it. It stands for Java workspace, or JDeveloper workspace rather. Then you can expand it, and you get to see all the list of files and source code. So one way to run it is from here. You can literally look at all the source code, and then the main source code that you wanted to start with is actually called, obviously, mainframe, I think. Let's write this one. So that's where you can go ahead and start it. That's the main software, and if you want to insert the sample data, what you want to do is you want to run this insert sample data test. So as soon as you run it, and as you can see that this one has an end program, they will give you the sample data. But again, that's going into too much of the coding, which don't worry about that. We're not going to talk about the coding. We're going to show you the software. And once you download the code, you should be able to look at the code. If you want to extend it. But right now the software just works itself, so there's nothing that you need to change. Alright, so if you don't want to go through all this JDeveloper thing, that's also fine. You can run it as is. Now before I go that far, let me show you. You can always type download Oracle JDeveloper. Like 12.2.1.4, this one comes up, and you can go through this whole link right here, JDeveloper software, and you can download it. This is completely free. There's nothing tied to it. So this tool is free, so you don't have to pay for it. You want to open it and use that IDE to develop your Java code. Anyway, so coming back to the list of files, so if you don't want to go through any of this JDeveloper mess, that's fine too. Then what I would suggest is you open the Readme file, which is this one that's written in the Markdown. So if you're not sure how to open the Markdown, what you want to do is, of course, go to a site like this, markdownlivepreview.com, and you can paste that piece of the Markdown texts, and it will show you what it's actually saying. So what you're interested in is this piece right here, how to run the software. So the first thing it's saying is open the code unpack, obviously, which we did, and then open the setup.batch file or the setup cp.sh script. So in case you are in Mac or in like Linux or other Unix boxes, you want to open the shell. If you're on Windows, you want to open the batch file. And also using this, you can either as soon as you update this, it doesn't matter. You can run either the sample code, you can also run the actual software itself. So let's go ahead and try to edit that file. So as it says, I'm going to go ahead and edit this since I'm on Windows, as you can see. And I have already done it. Because my software is in CUT Projects LIM, so I have updated that as this. Okay, so as soon as you update that, my next step is going to be I'm going to insert some sample data. So this is the batch file that you run. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and run that. And as you can see, it opens up this nice window. All it's telling you is how many sample data you wanted to insert. Okay, in my case, I'm just going to do 10. That is absolutely fine. And what happens is this maintains the library inventory. So library can have an audio, video, books, DVDs, maybe other items. So this is where you get to insert all of these sample data, and then you also get to insert like sample members, because you will have members, people like that are members of the library. And you can also have power users. Power users are kind of like your employees that you don't want to give them full access. Like there's only one administrator that has access to everything. Power users kind of like you can give them access to like maintain different types of items, but they cannot really go change the settings. And you will see, I'll go through that. I have already inserted sample data. I'm just going to show you how to do one of them. Like let's say book, someone inserts some, let's say insert, and we'll say just do you really want to delete and reinsert it? Yes, sure. And it will just do it fairly quick. So it's inserted the data, it's already there. As I said, I inserted all of these. So I'm not going to reinsert again. I also have a member. I have some power users too. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. And any of these things that you see, if you forget how to use it, it's very intuitive. You click on help and it'll tell you what you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. Next thing is you want to launch the actual software. If you really wanted to see how the software works, right? Then in that case, you run this guy. So that is actually the main thing that you wanted to run to launch the software. And it will open up this nice splash screen, and then it basically tells you, I'm going to minimize the rest of the stuff for get rid of any distraction. It just tells you, what do you want to log in as? Do you want to log in as a member, power users, administrator? The difference is, if you log in as a member, all you could do is, sometimes a member can come and log in and just check out certain books and items. They can also do that too, using this. And any of this thing, again, click on help, it will tell you what it's doing. Okay, I'm going to log in as administrator to show you the entire capability. So the administrator password is admin. And how do I know that? Is you can run that insert sample data that had a button called view administrator password. You will know it from there. As well, you can know it from the documentation. It tells you the default administrator password is admin. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And it just tells you, be careful, you're logging as administrator, you have full authority, you can pretty much mess up anything you want. So that's all, just a warning, nothing important. All right, then you get this nice window. So let me explain some of these things. Each of these things that you have menu item here can also be accessed through these tools, this toolbar right here. So here, using library items, someone can do a check-in and a check-out, an item from the library. Audios, of course, here you can maintain the list of audios. Now remember, I logged in as an administrator, so I can pretty much do anything I want. So here you could add an audio, view, or delete certain things, and you can also check out an audio. Same thing, books, similar, add, view, delete, check out, do DVDs, same thing, video, same thing. And then of course, if you wanted to maintain any members, you could do it as well. And for a specific member, you can check out multiple items, of course, you can using this. So you can either do it through this interface or through this. Security is, of course, that's where you add the power users. And the last, not the least, you can also do certain things like you could update certain options. So it's kind of like here, you can change the administrator password. You can email, and now here you can actually put the email SMTP host name and then the subject and the email. Now how this is useful is you actually can send the email for let's say if someone is late to put the to return the item, so you can actually send a bulk email. And here this is very useful actually. You can send a mass email through every, to the whole system, and just put the common message right here. Okay. The other thing you could do is check out limits, like how many items they can check out at a time. So by default, it's generally 2. They can check out 2 at most, and then each of the item, what is the cost? Right now, it just says 1, like $1, whatever. If there is any cost involved, but you can just put 0 if there's no cost involved. So it'll tell you exactly how much is the cost. The other thing that you have is, here is how many days they can keep the rental, the duration. Then do you want to log all the transaction? I can also do that too in a file. And what should it log all the outputs? So here it does that too. So yeah, as you can see, it is extremely intuitive. So there's a lot of things that you could do with this. Let's go and do something more fun. All right, so let's say I'm just going to look at some DVDs. So of course I can add a new DVDs. Now the call ID is nothing but the ID of any item. So DVD typically will start with D and then the number, okay? Audio will start with an A and a number, but that's just a standard. That doesn't mean you have to follow that. You can just put anything that you want, but as long as it's unique, then you'll be fine. And of course, you can put an ID and a title and who's the speaker or player, whoever, the content of it and more description of it. Is it available? Yes or no? But if of course it's yes. Any of these you can click on help and you can see exactly how to do it. I'm not going to add anything because I already have a whole bunch of things added, but you got the idea, I'm sure. So now what does the delete do? Well, delete is kind of like you can look at what you want to delete by call ID, or like kind of like doing a query, and you can look at by call ID that I want to delete exactly D1 or something like that, and then you can try to delete it, but I'm not going to delete it. So that's one way to do it. The other way is you could go view. This is where all the list of, as you know, I remember I only added 10. So there's all these different DVDs that supposedly we have in our library that you can check out, right? And any of these is editable, right? You can just kind of like, I can double click on here because you cannot change the ID. That's not editable. But this is editable. You can change it right here. You can change right here. You can change this right here and change it right here as well. All of these things are editable from here. If you want to delete it, of course, you can select that and you can right click and delete the selected video. So these things are extremely intuitive, as you can see, and delete all of them. You can even select certain things and you can just say right click and I want to check out this item. That's one way to do it. Now, since I selected it, let's go ahead. Say now it's going to ask you, okay, who is checking it out? Then I already have, 2 members. 10 members, and I'm just going to select any one of them, right? And it also tells you that each member has how much balance, right? This member has $2, $9, $3, or whatever. So let's just choose member 1, and then I'm just going to say, okay, member 1, I'm going to check it out. And it says, great, member has checked out, and then it's due by October 10th. So as you remember, in the options, I said it's they can only check it out for 1 day, right? So that's what it says. And here it tells you that if you recall them, this member had $3, I think. So now this member only has $2 left in our account. So it's pretty simple. You could read what it says. So it has checked out. This is the due date, and this person, this name, has to return the item on that date, and this person only has that much money left in their account. Fair enough, very simple. And now, as you can see, that this automatically got changed to no. That means you cannot check out that item anymore, right? So, of course, I can select this and try to say check out this DVD and choose another member, like another member, and say this. Of course, it will say you cannot check out because it's not available. So, got the idea, I'm sure. And then here you can also, this view is you can also search by certain things. So I want to say that this thing is exactly equals greater than or whatever. So I want to see all of the videos that, all the titles that are starts with D, let's say, or something like that. Not necessarily more than D. So then we'll give you all of this. So it's basically, it's a logical search based on your text. So and then the like, you can use the like. That would be kind of like, I want to see everything that starts with D. Would put something like this, and then it will just say, okay, all the titles that starts with has D in there, starts with D is this, and all the titles that starts with, let's say, A, there's nothing in there. How about B? You get some. So as you can see, that this is how that interface is designed, and each of these that you see, audios or books or videos, exact same interface. It's just for different item, right? Okay, so similar thing, you could do library checkout. I can do it from here using this interface as well. What this is useful for is you can, for a specific member, I showed you that if someone wants to check out a DVD, you can go to the DVD and then check it out here. You can actually check out, doesn't matter whether it's audio or video, you can put different call ID. I can say here that I wanted to do a DVD, I also want to do a book, and put their ID and just click checkout. And if it's available, so like I could say like D ID. Actually, let me take a look at this quick. How does this IDs are? So there's VC ID, and then books. There, let's say there is BC ID. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and check out for not that member. Let's say for member 4 has some money. So I'm gonna say BC ID 2, and then this guy wants to also check out VC ID for video 4, and also wants to check out something like a DC ID 4. And duration, I'm just gonna say 1, because if I can try to put 2, and then you can do checkout. And basically said that, okay, the 3 item checked out is informed number 3 that to return item according member has that much amount in the account. All right, so looks like it all has been successful. So I'm going to go ahead, and here you can also add a new member, by the way. So if this is a new member, and you can set preferred or regular. Now, for one thing you will notice that I think member 3 must be a regular member, so you can do certain things. And preferred members also can do certain things. Anyway, here I can add the member with the first name, last name, their address, phone number, how much credit that they have, and any notes. So I can do it through that, or I can even do it through this as well. Right? I can do it through this interface as well by looking at them and by doing this thing right here. Okay, now let's look at something else. So now let's say, I think member 1 had certain things that I had checked out. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and you can send emails to certain members, right? So this is how you do it, send emails to members. So I could do this 3 and right click and just say send emails to members. Now here, a nice thing that can happen is, of course, this was the default email, if you remember, but you can substitute this email text with some common fields. Like I can say our system indicates that instead of you, I want to put the name. So I could say something like I want to put the first name and the last name you have, and then that way it becomes more personalized, right? System indicates that whatever John Doe have library items that are due today, please return them immediately, something like that. And you can also say you have this much credit, you can put the credit. So these automatically get substituted. That's what this is very useful for whenever you're sending an email. You can also click send once the email has been, this has been constructed properly. You can even put all this thing in the email subject as well. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of things that you could do in here. Now let's try to check in certain items. Well, I know that I've checked out certain books. So let's say a person is this right here. So someone did a Big Mountain, whatever that book is, and I can just right click and say check in selected books. and it automatically got checked in, and you can see this is done now. Right? Similarly, you can do the same thing. You can look at a list of this and then highlight. I know that this one was checked out, and I can just say right click and check in this. That means the book is back in the library and it's available. Right? So again, and one thing you could see that I logged in as an administrator, so I can do all of this thing. Right? There's other things, of course, there's help that you can look at. And this is another neat feature that I have. Of course, you can cascade if you have multiple windows, as you can see. You can pretty much do all this Windows thing, cascade of tiles, vertically, horizontally, blah, 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 blah. All that is pretty useful. And you can just close all and close all. The other neat thing you could do is you can change the look and feel, which is this button right. All of this thing you can do is using this toolbar items. If I have to change the look and feel, for instance, right now by default it's metal, right? I can change it to Windows Classic and apply, and it changes the Windows Classic, and I can change it to regular Windows or CD Motive. This is more like a Unix type platform. And change it to Nimbus. As you can see, all the different look and feels. This is the default, So it's pretty neat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to log in as a different user now to show you different looks or different flows for different users. So let's do that. Okay, the first thing is we're going to launch it again. Let it come up. And log in as a power users. I know that one of them has ID 1 and I need the password. I'm going to use that. And here is the power user. So power users, as you can see, they can do check and check out. They could do audio, add, and view. Seems like they don't get the option to delete. As you can see, they cannot delete, they can add and view. Check and check out. Same thing, book TV videos, they can also add other members, they cannot delete. And of course they don't have options to any of the security options, right, to add power users. So that's the only difference. Now, how do you know the passwords? The way you know the passwords of the power users, you can quickly look it up by logging into the applications again as an administrator. So if you go to members, view right here, you get to see all the passwords actually in there. Right? All of these, actually, sorry, not members, security, view power users, has all the passwords in there that you can look at if you want. Alright, anyway, now let's try to log in as a member. A member doesn't need a password, all they're doing is checking and check out. So you can just log in. And as you can see, they have very limited access, right? So if you're just a member, you can just come in, you can even use the software and say, I just want to check out. And then they can just come in and use this option to say, what is the caller ID? And they can select what is their member ID, and then what are the caller ID of the things that they're checking out, and they can just click check out. So I think that's pretty much it that I wanted to show. Now, of course, I'm going to put the source code on the description below. If you're interested in it, this is a very capable software. It is completely written in Java, 100% pure Java, no other language or other library that it depends on. It's everything Java. So if this video has added any value to your daily skill set, please do subscribe, and please do also hit the like button and the bell icon so that you can see more and more videos in the future. The next thing that I have in the plan in the video, which I probably mentioned in my previous video as well, well, this was a demo video, but in my next tutorial that I'm going to have, hoping in the next couple of weeks, is I'm going to extend my employee vaccination management software. Of course, that is completely free, as you can see. This entire tutorial and the software that I was showing. The last thing we did was we added a report, but after that we'll extend more. After the report, we'll try to add some kind of nice visualization, like a nice dashboard, like a nice chart that shows some summary of the employee vaccination. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to come back again with some more, nice and useful tutorial. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye now.